everyone, this is Professor Benjamin, and in this video we are going to continue to use Excel to analyze data sets. In this data set we're going to use Chicago sex offenders, so that's what we will be looking at this week. We will use a lot of the same tools that we used last week when we were working with data sets using the counted. So the first part of this assignment right here will be refresher tools that you used last week. So using counted, COUNTIF and COUNTIFs and finding percentages, etc. But this exercise also asks us to use a new tool in our toolbox. And I'm going to show you how to find a range using COUNTIFs. So let me show you. So we're going to be using, this is the assignment that we're going to do. So this analyze data using Chicago sex offender data set. And as you can see here, we're going to find out the percentage of sex offender victims that were minors. We're going to look at what is the average age of a Chicago sex offender. And we're going to look at what percentage of Chicago sex offenders are male. So we're going to use tools that we used last week. So you're going to use the same tools that you use, but just with a different data set. So what I did was I downloaded my data set. So that's the first thing that I did was I downloaded this worksheet and I saved it, and then I downloaded the data set, and you can find the data set right here under the assignments in the module. And when I downloaded the data set, I opened up my Excel spreadsheet, and here is my sex offender data right here. So this is what you'll see when you download the data. And I went in and added in my additional sheet. Remember, this is the file, and within the file we have sheets. And I put in my calculation sheet. So I added, right here I added calculations. So I added my sheet and I named it calculations. I'm going to just delete the sheet because now, and I have my calculations. So remember, the first couple questions are going to ask you some questions that you're going to have to create little cells here that are going to help you. So like, for example, you're going to have to find males, total number of males, and then you're going to have to do your percentage. And then you're going to have to do where you're going to use COUNTIFs here to go back to the database and count. And then you're going to have to do average age. And I showed you how to do that. Remember, you're going to use the average age. And you can use the average tool to do that. And then it looks like minors is another one. So minors total, and then you're going to have to find the percentage. And when we go back, so remember, you're going to use COUNTIFs for this, and COUNTIF for this, and COUNTIF for this to find the total. Then we need to find the number of males, I apologize, and the number of minors. Then you're going to have to find the total number from the database. So if we click back here and quickly look at the database, you can see here it gives you the last name, the first name, the block of the individual, the gender of the individual, the race of the individual, the birth date of the individual, the age of the individual, the height, the weight, and whether the victim was a minor or not. So these are the offenders, and then it says whether they victimized a minor or not. And notice it's yes or no, so it's Y or N. And so you're going to need to look at that. So let's just quickly, I'm just going to quickly go through this because you should be familiar with this. So let's quickly do males. We're going to insert a function, and we're going to use COUNTIF for the males. We're going to go back to our sex offender data, and I know I'm rushing through this, but we went over this last week, so I want to make sure males. And we're going to say okay. Oops, so that's incorrect. So let me go back again, and it could be because I'm rushing, so we're going to do COUNTIF. We're counting how many males, and I think it's because I clicked. So we want to do this. Oh, and I notice male is fully capitalized, so that could be an issue. And I say okay, and there's 1,059 males that were convicted or sex offenders in Chicago. So then I'm going to go back here, and we need to find the total. Remember, we need to find the total. So remember, to find the total, we scroll all the way to the bottom, and it looks as if there's 1,081 entries. But remember, we need to subtract 1 because it is the header information. So remember, the variables at the top are listed across, so we need to subtract 1. So the total is 1,080. So we're going to take 1059 and divide it by 1080, and we hit, oh, I forgot to put my equal sign in there to find my percentage, and I say enter. And it looks as if 98% of individuals that are sex offender are male, and that's typical. That is a typical behavioral pattern in males, and it is a good way you can make recommendations to law enforcement officers. It doesn't mean females do not are not sex offenders. It just means that majority are males. Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show you range. So I'm going to leave you up to you doing questions 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to work on this range. So it's one thing to tell us how many individuals of the age that are 20 who are sex offenders, or the 30, but we want to find out a range, and this is how we have to use greater than and less than. And I know some of you get a little freaked out by greater than or less than, but the Pac-Man idea of greater than or less than helps us to be able to do this. So I've included in the PowerPoint what greater than or less than looks like in a little bit of an image that actually helps me as well. Big alligator eating numbers, so it'll help you understand the symbolism of the signs. But I'm going to show you how we're going to analyze this. So let's look at the total, and we're going to use the COUNTIFs tool function to do this. So I clicked in my range. I also, if you've noticed, I put number in age, total, and percentage. So if you want to take time right now, why don't you do that? Why don't you type in this information? I'll pause for a second in this video and let you do that. So I'm going to give you a second or two to do that, and then I'll start up the video again. I'm back, so you'll have to pause and put me in. But here you go. So we're going to do total. So I'm going to click in this box here, and remember, we're going to go to our formulas. I'm going to hit insert function, and I'm going to pick COUNTIFs. And the reason I'm going to pick COUNTIFs is because, remember, it lets me do 2 ranges. So I'm going to do the greater than, equal to, and the less than. I'm going to go back to my sex offenders, and in this case, we're looking at age. So I'm going to click on age, and my criteria 1 is I would like this to be greater than or equal to 20, to the age 20. So we're going to do greater than or equal to 20. So remember, greater than, the Pac-Man sign is greater than, it's equal, it's eating it, and this means less than or equal to 20. I'm going to go back here because I'm going to put in my next range, and I'm going to click on, oops, so I don't want that to go there. I messed up there because I want to click here because I'm going to my second one, and I want to put in age. And now I want to use the opposite sign, so then I want to do less than or equal to 30. So less than or equal to 30. And I'm going to say OK. And 58 individuals show up. Now this tool is what's going to come in handy because there's 1,059. To find the percentage, I'm going to say equals 58 divided by 1,059. So 1,000. So, and then I have to go back to my home and I have to do my percentage, 5%. Okay, so let's try this one again. Let's do it another one just to get you kind of moving. Insert function. We're going to do COUNTIFs. And now this range is from 30 to 40. So we need to do 30 to 40. So we're going to go back to our sex offenders database. We're going to click on age, and we are going to do greater than or equal to 30. And then we want to click in here again to this range. We're back to age, and we are now going to do less than or equal to 40 because we want it to say 40, right? And we say okay. Oh, 273. So there's a larger number there of sex offenders, and then you can do your division and find your percentage. Let's do one more together, and then I'll let you do the rest. So one more together, insert function. We're going to go to the COUNTIFs. We are going to do our range, so we need to say we're looking at the age. Then we are going to do our greater than or equal to, and we're looking 40 to 50. So 40, and now we need to go back again to our age, and we need to say less than or equal to 50. And this is capturing these 40 and 50 numbers here. So here we go, 302. So we have 302 individuals. You'll find the next one. Okay, let's do one more because I know this can be confusing, the less than or equal to. So let's do insert function, COUNTIFs. Okay, we will go back here to our sex offender data, age. Okay, and now we're going to look at this. So we're going to do blank, blank, and we're going to say, greater than or equal to 50, but we also then need less than or equal to 60. So we're going to go back to our age, and we're going to say less than or equal to 60. So let's say 60. Enter 332. And then we're going to do our thing. So I'm going to let you do these two because you have to practice. If you don't practice this, you're never going to be able to accomplish it. So practice these two and then do your percentages. Don't forget, you're going to then put this information onto this data sheet. So you have to be able to do that. So you're going to put this stuff into your data sheet, and then you're going to answer question 5, which says identify one additional variable you're interested in analyzing and draft a chart with your solution. So I suggest, so you're going to create something that looks like this, and you're going to have to add an additional variable in there. So you need to look at what you would be interested in analyzing and maybe find the percentage, and then so you need to find the number and the percentage. So here, let's go back to the data set and look. I saw some really interesting things. You could do race, right? You could do the races. What were the number of the races? And then the percentage. It'll be interesting. You'll probably find out that average-wise, sex offenders are mostly white. So you'll find that out in there. You could do the weight of the individual. I don't know if that plays a role. Or you could do... you could also do maybe their name. That's an interesting thing, is their repetitive name. So there's all different things that you can do, but remember you're going to need to find the number and the percentage of whatever additional variable you're going to look at. A lot of people do race because they're familiar with that from our other exercise, but it's totally up to you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.